I'm taking a look at www.colorblender.com. This is a very interesting website that's going to let us play with mixing colors. What I've got here is 5 different color swatches, but I've set these to white. The 2 surrounding ones are set to white, and they're set to white because the color value is 255, 255, 255 for each of the red, green, and blue colors. But here, the color values are all 0. 0 intensity on red, 0 on green, 0 on blue. I can change those color intensities here. I'm going to slide this slider all the way to the right, and as I do this, you'll see the number to the right is increasing. Now it's 255. That's as red as anything will ever get. If I slide this back down here, and I slide the green slider up, you see that the color goes increasingly green. Now green is at intensity 255, and that's as far as green will ever go. Now let's take a look at blue. I slide blue to the maximum, and I'm going to get 255 as the maximum blue value. If I slide this back to the left, I'm decreasing the intensity. What I'm really doing is going through all of the monochromatic colors of blue. Now, if I wanted to play with all of these, I could do something interesting here in terms of monochromatic colors. Let's take this one. Let's put blue part way up, and let's put the other 2 primaries not so far up. Let's take this one, and let's put the red and the green to 0, but let's put the blue a little bit higher up. This one, let's take the blue and put it a little bit higher even yet. This one, we're going to set red and green back to 0, and we're going to set blue a little bit higher. And finally, if we go to the last one, we'll leave blue set at maximum. And what we've just achieved is monochromatic colors, all these different shades of blue. Let's try something else right now, though. Let's go back and turn each of these to white. To do that, I have to increase each of the color values to 255. And I just did that, but I chopped out that piece of this video so that you don't have to worry about me changing all of those to get to this point. But let's do this. Let's take a look at this color. It's black because I have set each of the 3 intensities, red, green, and blue, to 0. But let's see what happens if I put each value to about halfway, pretty much in the middle. I get a gray. If I increase it again, I get a lighter gray for those equal values. And when I increase this all the way on each of them, I get white. So if we mix maximum intensity of each of the red, green, and blue, we get white. Let's go back to having them all shut off, and let's see what we can do with that again. Let's mix the colors in pairs. I'm going to mix red, maximum intensity red, maximum intensity green. Look what I get, yellow. But if I go a little bit lower on the green, a little bit lower, I get orange. So I'm mixing red and green and getting orange. And as I go farther down to the left, less of the green, it gets more and more red. Let's try blue and the red. Red is already at maximum. Let's make the blue go up and see what happens here. Halfway up, I get this magenta hue. All the way up, I get true magenta. That's red and blue make magenta. Halfway down, I get violet. Let's go back to mixing in pairs. Let's mix green and blue and see what we get. Maximum green, maximum blue, and I get this color cyan. You'll recognize it when I mixed red and blue, red and green and blue. I got the three mix all the different colors and pigments. Let's go back to black, and let's play a little bit here. Let's just take some arbitrary value, and let's set these at three different places, and let's see what happens as we play with this. What I'd like you to look at right now is these values here, and relate them to these values here. You'll notice 92, 152, and 192 are stated here as red, green, and blue. But what does this little HTML mean? Actually, this is the same values expressed in hexadecimal. That's a base 16 arithmetic, and it's the type of coding that's used on the web. So if you wanted to specify this particular color blue, you would specify the color with the pound sign 5C, which is 92 in hexadecimal, 98, which is 152 in hexadecimal, and C0, which is 192 in hexadecimal. Let's just see what happens when we push one of these to the max. 255 is hex FF. And as you can see here, when I reduce a color to 0, the hexadecimal for that is 0 also. That gets a little more technical than we really need to do at this point. I think it'd be kind of interesting for you to play with this website if you want to start mixing colors. And in fact, if you found some color specified in a piece of HTML, by way of these codes, you could actually see what that color looked like by adjusting these values to produce the same value here that you see in the HTML code, just as the computer will do it, to produce the color that these three values represent when red, green, and blue colors are mixed in those proportions, producing this color.